today. A close associate of Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz is expected to plead guilty to multiple federal charges, including child sex trafficking. On Friday, Joel Greenberg admitted that he was involved in, quote, sugar daddy relationships in which he paid women for sex, including an underage girl. He also agreed to cooperate with the ongoing investigation. But Representative Gaetz insists that the plea deal has nothing to do with him. He is also under investigation for possible violations of federal sex trafficking laws. CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion reports.
This morning, the man Congressman Matt Gaetz has called his wingman, Joel Greenberg, is expected to plead guilty to 6 federal charges, ranging from child sex trafficking to wire fraud. According to his plea agreement, Greenberg admits to being involved in sugar daddy relationships where he paid women for sex, including a minor that he introduced to other adult men who engaged in commercial sex acts. Multiple sources tell CBS News one of those men was Gaetz, and federal investigators are looking into whether he had a sexual relationship when the girl was 17.
How concerned should Congressman Gaetz be right now?
Congressman Gaetz needs to be concerned even if he is 100% innocent.
CBS News legal analyst Nikole Killion.
The details that have leaked out in this investigation are really, on the one hand, a bit titillating, and on the other hand, certainly sordid and disturbing. These are the types of crimes that simply the rumor of that kind of activity makes you look skeptically at someone, even if they're presumed innocent.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
Gaetz declined to speak with us, but his spokesperson said Congressman Gaetz doesn't seem to be named nor referenced in Mr. Greenberg's plea. Congressman Gaetz has never had sex with a minor and has never paid for sex. The Florida lawmaker appears undaunted, touring with conservative Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and addressing an Ohio political summit this weekend.
At that GOP summit, Congressman Gaetz reportedly told the crowd he's being falsely accused of exchanging money for naughty favors. A reminder that Gaetz has not been indicted and has repeatedly denied the allegations against him. Anne Marie?
So Greenberg has been cooperating with authorities now for some time. Is Gaetz's office worried about what might emerge in court today?
You know, if they are, and if the congressman is, he's certainly not showing it. I mean, as you saw, the congressman just this past weekend was in Ohio at a GOP event. He is, doing this tour with Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene out of Georgia. He was just on the Hill Friday, although he certainly has been evading questions from reporters. But, keep in mind, these are very serious charges that Joel Greenberg is facing. And even though he is expected to plead guilty to 6 charges, he faces so many more. And the fact, as you mentioned, that he is cooperating with authorities is something to take into consideration. At this point, Gaetz has not been mentioned in the plea agreement that Greenberg has reached, but certainly there could be some cause for concern considering the federal investigation into Matt Gaetz is still ongoing. And so with that being said, some legal analysts say bottom line, it's not a good look, even if Gaetz is ultimately innocent.
Yeah, that's what we heard from Ricky. I guess, the Gaetz strategy thus far has been to just deny everything outright. Any chance that the strategy could change after today?
I think it depends, again, how this plea deal plays out, given Greenberg's cooperation with federal investigators. If he does, in fact, name Matt Gaetz, then that's a game changer. So obviously, he and his office would have to respond to that.
I haven't heard a lot from lawmakers from either party, quite frankly. How are lawmakers responding to this case?
Well, they've been operating at arm's distance. GOP leaders especially have been asked about Congressman Gaetz, whether he should be removed from his committee assignments, for instance. And so their position on this has been that unless Congressman Gaetz is indicted, then, they're really not going to take action. But if he is, of course, then he could risk further penalty and consequence, including being removed from some of those committee posts The Democrats, on the other hand, continue to be very vocal about this, especially California's Ted Lieu, who has consistently called for Gaetz to be removed, especially from the Judiciary Committee, even if he is innocent. You know, his feeling on it is the fact that the Department of Justice is currently investigating Matt Gaetz. He feels it's not appropriate then for Gaetz to be sitting on the committee that oversees the Justice Department.
Well, we will see. Today could be a crucial day. Nikole, thank you so much.
You bet.